Fab. So what I want to do, we're 5 sessions in now.
Yes.
This is our 5th session. So I want to kind of continue to sort of slowly build strength and movement in certain, areas, but I also want to kind of make sure I'm giving you a dip into what yoga the classes will be like if you do end up coming to the group classes online. So
That's the
we'll
plan.
we'll do a bit of both today. Oh my gosh, it's very strange light in here with the beautiful sunshine. I might have to close the curtains or something. You see my rainbows from my
Yes, it's
from
like
the
an
little
aura. You're like
yeah,
an angel.
I know. So we're just going to start with a little swing, and when you're swinging to the right, the left heel will be coming naturally off the floor and vice versa. That's it. And if you can, give your back a little bit of a sort of a smack, which is a nice way to wake
Wait,
up the back body. That's it. Noticing what feels nice as well as just doing the exercise, as it were. Just feel the swish of air in your hands, the movement of your flesh. And then we'll come back to center. And then just have a little bounce as if you're kind of dripping tension off your fingers and let your flesh be nice and soft. And if you can tap your heels, sort of like a half a jump. That can be a bit tricky if we have leakage, but if you don't, tapping the heels for a bit of sort of percussion. And then coming back to center and rising up on your toes. Now, I haven't given you any sort of centering cues, but see how you go, and then heels down. And then rise up on your toes again. Your best to look straight ahead, but have this sense of really seeing the entire room around you. Peripheral vision open when you're working for balance. And one more time up on your toes. And then heels down, and taking your left foot slightly back and slightly closer together with the feet to challenge your balance. So bringing them not quite on a tightrope, but not far off. And then trying to rise up and heels down. Now, instead of going up again, try and now lift your toes, bring your weight to your heels.
say that again, Neve.
Yeah, so we'll rise up on the toes, then heels down, and then try and lift all your toes and go back onto your heels. Yep, and then rise up on the toes again and back to your heels. And then we're going to do something very tricky. Stay on your front heel. I think it looks like it's your right foot. So stay on your right heel and come up onto your left toes and try and balance there. So you've got the front heel and the back toes down. Be quite wobbly, and that's the idea, is to give you that wobble challenge.
Yeah, that's
excellent, isn't it? It's great fun though, and it's a great one to work on. Let's bring the legs down, feet down, and then left foot in front, right foot slightly behind, and quite narrow but not exactly behind. We'll rise up on the 2 sets of toes. Yeah, often one side is harder than the other, so you might find this wobblier, and then heels down, lean back to the heels, try and lift all the toes, and then rise up on all the toes. If you feel very wobbly, go to a wall or a chair. Hold on to a wall or chair. Heels down, lift all the toes, up onto both heels. And then we'll meet in the middle. So you're going to stay on the left heel and rise up onto the right toes. Feel free to hold a wall. I want a wobble, but I don't want you in a big wobble that feels really uncontrolled. And this one might be harder or easier than the other side. Maybe 1 or 2 more seconds and release. And we'll go back to that swinging just to shake off that tension. A really good balance training drill that you could do while the kettle boils or while you're chatting to your friends in the garden. And then back to center. Grab your brick, your block, and pop it between your thighs. You can pop it at its narrowest or second narrowest. When I'm standing, I prefer the narrowest, but it's up to you. And squeeze the block with your thighs, lifting through the pelvic floor, and inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze the block with your thighs, and inhale, relax. And exhale, squeeze the block, about 8 out of 10 of your effort. And then see, can you reduce to about 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10? So you're definitely holding it, but it's not crazy. And see, can you imagine that you're just going to sit down into a bar stool behind you, reaching your arms forward. So the bum is going backwards. So we're not kind of coming down here and reaching forward. It's like trying to touch the wall behind you with your bum. And then squeeze the block, 5 out of 10 to come up. And exhale, squeeze the block to come down. We'll do 3 more of those. Inhale up. Block is continuously being squeezed. And exhale to sit back. I've got an itchy eyebrow. Squeeze to come up. Think of using your buttock muscles, and 2 more. Inhaling, squeeze to sit down. Exhale, squeeze to come up. And 1 more time, squeeze to come down. And instead of coming up, we're going to stay here. Squeeze a little, hands to your hips if that's okay. And pulsing downwards for 5, 4, not a fast pulse, 3, 2, 1. Stay low if you can. Take out the block. You can keep it in your hands and hold it up overhead if your shoulders will allow. And if you need to come, let's say your block is here and you're rounding the spine, then it's just an awkward position for your body. It doesn't like it. So if you can bring your spine more upright, your shoulders may give you a little more motion. Inhale here. And as you exhale, step your left foot back, a big deep stride, and come up into warrior 1. So you're bending your right knee and your hips are facing front. I'm just going to show you here on the screen. And the block is there just to add a little something for our grip strength. So pressing your feet into the floor. I'm going to come over to the screen so you can see how I'm holding the block. I'm holding it like quite wrapping my hands around it. And what I'd love you to do is soften your shoulders by bending the elbows a little, but squeeze with your fingers. Squeeze the floor with your toes. Inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze the fingers, scrunch the toes. You'll feel your pelvic floor lifting, your tummy engaging. Inhale, relax. And 1 more time, exhale, scrunch your toes and squeeze your hands. Inhale here. And as you exhale, step up. I'm going to kneel down so you can see what I'm doing with the block. You can hold the block lightly now. Stay really tall in your stance and just try and tap the block behind your shoulder blades without changing your posture or your head position. That's it. And exhale it up. Tuck your chin slightly like you're giving yourself a double chin. Don't let your ribs poke forward like mine are doing a little bit there. And then touch behind, down to the shoulder blades. And touch or bring them up. And resting down. And we're going to just throw the block somewhere safe that you're not going to stand on it. And we'll do different stuff now in our other side warrior. You can take your band. Great. Step to the front of your mat. And step your left foot back a deep stride. Bending your right knee. Pressing the feet into the floor, slightly scrunching the toes. And I'm going to come here to show you the arm movement. Arms up above your head. And we are going to inhale the arms wide and try and bring the band behind your head as long as it doesn't make you poke your head. Yeah, beautifully done. Exhale up. We're going to do 4 more of those. Keep pressing your feet into the floor. If it feels too easy, hold the band shorter, or you can double the band as you start to find it easier. If you start getting a bit buckety with the movement and your chin is poking or you're rounding your head forward, you can pull down in front of your nose. But think about, as you grip the toes and press the feet, for these last two, think about using the muscles of your upper back to make it happen. Fabulously done. One more, exhale up. And think of not coming around and behind, but out and straight down. And exhale up. Bring the band down and step up to the top of your mat. Beautiful job. You can throw the band somewhere nearby. And then get your stool. Is your stool there?
Yeah.
Brill. Top that at the front of your mat. Now, if you were in a yoga class online, you can just use the stool. I would be using, in the class, I'll be using 2 blocks or a bolster sat upright. So whenever I'm doing that in the online classes, you can grab your stool. And we're going to step close to the stool. And we're going to inhale the arms up. Imagine your arms spreading like wings. And as you exhale, spread those arms back behind you and interlace your fingers. Inhale, lift your straight arms from your back. And exhale, let the arms just settle down onto the back of your pelvis. Inhale again. And exhale, step your left foot back a deep stride with the toes of the right foot close to the stool. And make sure your feet are hips width apart. So just step that left foot out to the left slightly so you're not behind. That's it. So your hips can kind of more or less face the front of your mat. You don't have to be too religious about it, but we're not on a tightrope. We're on like double yellow lines. So you have 2 options here for the arms. Well, there's lots of options, but for now, either to let the arms just rest there on your bum or to lift them slightly. And you can do both. You can do one for a while and then the other. Inhale here. And then think about leaning forward, but as if you're trying to touch your chest to the wall rather than trying to go low. Try not to overlift your chins. Give yourself maybe a slight double chin, but lead the chest forwards. And reach back with your knuckles. Strengthen through your legs by pressing into the floor, or gripping with the toes will help you possibly engage the pelvic floor if it's functioning reasonably well. Inhale here. And exhale, bring your hands onto the stool. So in an online situation, I'd be saying bring your hands to the bolster or the blocks. And we're going to just wriggle the bottom a little bit. One of my favorite things is just hanging out here and wriggling. And then keeping your left hand on the stool or bolster, we're going to stroke the right hand up the left arm, stroke the right hand across your chest as you turn to the right, and then continue that motion of the arm up towards the top of the wall behind you. It doesn't have to come up to the ceiling, and it doesn't have to go towards the back of your mat. It could be on a diagonal out to the right. That's great. Press your feet a little into the floor. Don't work too strong here. You can be quite relaxed. And if your arm is struggling, bring that hand to the hip instead, and breathing long and slow. Looking for what feels yummy and don't tolerate what feels horrible. Inhale here. Exhale, hand back to the stool. And pressing down through your feet, bend the right knee and push yourself up to vertical. Think of pushing the legs into the floor, looking for extra strength in the legs, and come up right to vertical in your spine. I often find people only come to here, but really come up right as if you're holding a book on your head. And again, we're going to inhale and spread our wings wide, maybe looking up, and then exhale. Wrap your arms around to the right. So your left arm is going to wrap in front of you, your right arm wrapping behind, and you're going to turn towards what looks like the windows there. That's it. We're going to do that twice more on the same side. So we're going to inhale, open our wings, arms up. Beautiful. Exhale, turn to the right. I call this spaghetti arms in class sometimes. So spaghetti to the right, spaghetti wrapping around the fork of your trunk. Inhale, arms up again one last time. And exhale, spaghetti to the right again. As you inhale to come back around, we'll stay upright. Bring your hands onto your hips and turn your left toes out a bit more. So you're now facing, yes, the top left side of your mat. All right. Then straightening your right leg. Your toes should be pointing towards your stool or your bolster or your block in a class. And press into the right big toe. And the back leg is straight as well, if you can. And then reaching your right arm forwards.
Right arm.
Yes, the front leg arm. Reach it towards the wall in front of you. In straight, same direction as your toes, exactly.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes, we're going to draw the right buttock backwards as you reach the right hand towards the wall. Right leg is as straight as you can make it, and when your hip joint has stopped moving, bring your right hand down to your stool. Press into the right big toe, and now we're going to turn the chest to the left. If your balance is compromised, stay looking at the floor, and then take your left fingertips to your chest, and then unfurl that arm up to the ceiling. You can look at it if you want, or look to the wall beside you, or look to the floor. A little bit of a sense of tone in your tummy, lower tummy, under your navel, as if someone's just kind of poking you with a thumbtack just below your navel and you're trying to pull away from it. And a little lift in the pelvic floor, as if you're lifting. Actually, one of my teachers had a great image, as if you're lifting a blueberry with your vagina, which I'm sure neither of us could do, but you could certainly imagine it. Inhale here. And exhale, bring that hand down. 2 hands on your stool, bend your right knee, pop your left foot slightly forward, just enough that you can then step your right foot back with ease and come into like a forward bend with the feet about the width of the mat, and sway your bum side to side. And if you want, so what I want to avoid is you being kind of here and having to dip down to the stool, but you don't have to be so far back, but as far back as allows you to kind of stretch your chest and lift your tail and feel a bit of a stretch in your armpit, as well as, of course, quite strongly in the backs of your legs. A little sway, or you can be still 1 or 2 more breaths. If you feel like you want to stop, just walk your feet towards the stool and hands to your hips or hands on the stool, come up to vertical. And then when you're ready, this is a different instruction than we've done on the other side, but we're going to get to the same place. Turn your right heel slightly in. Right, that's it. And step the left foot up towards the stool. And then if you can, bring your hands to your hips. You're coming a little higher. Come a little higher up in your trunk. Interlace your fingers behind, and we're back where we started. So we're reaching the knuckles backwards. The 2 legs are straight, and we're slightly gripping with the toes to add strength, or if you prefer to think of pushing your feet into the floor. Inhale. And as you exhale, lead your chest towards the wall in front of you. As you go forward, that's it. Give yourself a slight double chin, so you'll be looking down at your stool. Draw the left buttock back. Inhale here. And exhale, bring your hands to the stool. Hopefully that's quite easy to get there. Yeah. Then we're going to do a little wag of the tail, or painting the wall behind us with our bushy tail that we don't have anymore. And then back to stillness. We're going to take the left hand to the right hand. Just slide it across. And then just with a kindness of touch, bringing your left arm, up your right arm, across your chest, opening out to the wall beside you, and then unfurling that arm if it feels appropriate. And if the arm position makes you struggle in the back or the chest or the shoulder, just bring that hand to your left hip instead. You can still get this lovely twist without compromising and feeling miserable. Think of lifting your chest forward slightly and up. Yes, beautiful, Anne, perfect. And breathing, a little tone in your toes, a little lift of the pelvic floor, but not a big deal. 2 more breaths if you're having a nice time. If you're not, bring your hand to the chair, to the stool. And then taking that hand down to the stool, bending your left knee, bring one hand to a hip, push down through your feet and come up to vertical. Now, just to make sure I can see you, I'm going to flip, you stay where you are. I'm just going to flip my stool to the other end, but you don't have to do anything. And we are going to take, we're upright, aren't we? We're going to take our right toes and angle them out to the right slightly. So yes, your pelvis is sort of facing the top right side of your mat. Take your left arm towards the wall, the other left arm, towards the other wall, towards the screen. That's it. I think you've had that gin and tonic. And then pulling the left buttock back, reach for the wall in front of you. Reach, reach, reach in a side stretch. And once your hip here has stopped moving, let that left hand come down. Bring your right hand to your chest. Open your elbow and chest towards the side. And then float that arm if you would like to. Pressing your feet into the floor. You'll feel that there is a slight stretch for the, or maybe a heavy stretch for the back of the left leg, but make sure you're not locking that knee. And the arm can come down to the hip anytime it wants if the shoulder's not enjoying it. Lift that chest a little bit and a tiny bit of tone in your pelvic floor, a tiny bit of tone in your lower abdomen. 2 or 3 more breaths, depending on how much fun you're having or not having. Maybe 1 breath if you're miserable. Inhale here. And then exhaling your 2 hands to the stool. Just step that right foot slightly forward to give you enough balance, I guess, to step the left foot back and come into this forward bend. So this is a standing forward fold with your hands on the stool so that you don't have to compromise your lower back. So lifting through the tail and slightly bending your knees will enable you to be a bit safer for your lower back. Reduce the risk of overstretching. Inhale again. Exhale, walk halfway up or more. You'll see how you feel, because what we're going to do now is just bring one knee to the floor. So get yourself to a functional place that you can do that. And the other knee to the floor and walk backwards onto all fours. I don't want you to hit your head on your stool. And this is where I would pretty much always suggest to people to put a little fold in their mat, or to kneel on a small cushion, or to put a folded blanket under their knees. And then your hands can be just directly on the floor. But when the wrists are struggling, it can be nicer to bring the hands up onto a cushion or a couple of blocks or something. And on our all fours, we're going to add a little bit of strength challenge, and then we will come to the floor. We're going to slide the left toes out behind, straightening the left leg, but keeping the toes on the floor. Keep your head in line with your spine. Don't let it hang. From here, it looks like it's in a good position. And then if you're able, take your right arm either alongside your ear. If that hurts your shoulder, take the right arm more out to the side, but at the height of your chest if possible. Try not to sag the belly down like this. I don't know if you can quite see, but try not to sag down like this, but think of kind of toning the front of the tummy. And then if you can, lift your left leg just an inch or 2. And that's going to feel quite strong, quite a core strengthener. Reach back through the heel. Tone the front of the abdomen. Try and stop the front ribs from dropping down for 5. 4, you can bend that left elbow slightly to take the strain off the shoulder. 2, 1, bring the left knee down, the right hand down. And then we're going to take the right leg long, toes to the floor to start. Tuck the tummy slightly, head in line with the spine, and take the left arm ahead of you or out to the side. I can't believe I didn't say that if you can't lift the leg or if it's miserable in the shoulder, bring the hand down and just do the leg. So then if you're able, lifting the leg, think of somebody's trying to poke your lower abdomen with a thumbtack and you're trying to escape from the thumbtack, reach through the heel, shoulders away from your ears, slight bend in the right elbow might help your shoulders. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the knee and the hand down. Now this last one might be too much. See how you go. From all fours, pivot your left foot out to the side. I'm going to show you, no, the knee stays there. Have a look at the screen, just pivoting the foot.
Okay.
Tapping the floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're going to straighten the right leg behind us and take the right arm off the ceiling. So a side plank on the left knee. That's it. Beautiful. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that knee down. Pivot the right foot out, straighten the left leg, and take the left arm up off the floor. You can slightly bend that right elbow to protect your shoulder and breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your knees down. Thank goodness, says you. Separate your knees a little wider with the knees if you can. Bring your bum back towards your heels and get your block and put it vertically under your forehead so that you can settle in a nice, easy child's pose. If you find your bum doesn't want to go towards your heels, you can put another cushion in under your bottom. And just breathe there, noticing what feels good. And then when you're ready, find your way onto your back. You can bring that block with you. And as you get to the floor, we'll do our little arch and flatten. That's probably very familiar to you now, I hope. As you exhale, touch your lower back to the floor. And as you inhale, try and bring your tail to the floor so your lower back arches a very small amount. Exhale, touch the back down. Inhale, arch the spine. Relax your jaw. Exhale, touch the back to the floor. And inhale, come back to center, to neutral. Take your block and pop it sideways under your pelvis, and it's very solidly under the bones of your pelvis. So it's not down under the bottom of your buttocks, and it's not up under your waist, right under those flat bones at the back. And then if you can, depending on your core strength and your mobility, float one leg up to the ceiling. Keep your pelvis on the block as you see if it's possible to float the other one. But it's just the two legs dangling rather than stretching. Keep that pelvis on the block. Don't bring your feet towards your face. So there's a slight arch in the lower back, and the knees don't have to be straight. They can be slightly bent. And the idea is that we're just sort of dangling here, like a really passive rest. And if it can be done with dangling rather than stretching or effort, you can also dangle your arms. And the image I would have is of, you've probably seen those images of leopards sleeping on branches where they lie on their belly with their 4 limbs dangling down off the branch. So this is kind of like the upside down version of being asleep on a branch. And if it doesn't feel that restful, you could do one leg at a time, or don't do the arms, and take another 2 breaths. When you feel ready, and you can stay there if you're loving it, of course, bringing the feet down, carefully removing the block. And then seeing what your body wants. Does it want to immediately stretch the legs out flat into our corpse pose? Or would it like to spend a bit of time with the knees up and having a little rock and roll on the floor? Or maybe circling the knees, maybe hugging the knees, whatever you fancy. Maybe you'd like a little twist side to side, or nothing at all, maybe stillness. And when eventually you feel able for stillness, resting out in Shavasana. And if Shavasana doesn't suit you, which is with the legs flat on the floor, you can put cushions under your knees, that can help. You can put your lower legs up onto the stool, or you can just lie with knees bent. But it's nice to have the legs supported either by the floor or by a stool or a sofa or something. I'm trying to really rest your arms on the floor, but you're certainly welcome to put your hands on your belly, but as long as the shoulders and the elbows can give up their weight. And if you're able to have the head center and let it get heavy so you can relax your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders. Have a sense of the heaviness of your forelimbs. All of us are asymmetrical, and you might be interested to notice whether you feel symmetrical here or if you feel slightly crooked. And it's not really important unless there's major asymmetries. We usually tick along nicely. You're welcome to spend a little more time deepening your breath as you rest, or you can forget about your breath and drift into a sort of unfocused relaxation. As always, I suggest that you stay there for another few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and I shall send you the recording and see you next week.
Thanks, Neve.
You're welcome.